I find this one quite enjoyable to drive. So a little bit of history on this car if you've not know about this vehicle. The 935 was introduced by Porsche in approximately about 1976. But it's kind of an evolution or predecessor of the Porsche Carrera RSR turbo prototype, which was quite successful in the 70s at the 24-hour Le Mans. And we had, well, Porsche had various other makes and models of car and variants of this throughout the sort of the competitive market, if you like. IMSA GT, and it went on to win the 1979 overall Le Mans, which is pretty impressive. And it used to take part in Sebring, Daytona, and they did the 1,000 kilometres at Nürburgring. A little stat here which I thought was quite interesting: of the 370 races that it entered, it won 123. I mean, that is domination, isn't it? I mean, you think about what was around at the time as well. In Porsche, you had Ferrari. I don't know what else was out then. Was it Ferrari and Porsche? Probably things like, I don't know, were Lamborghinis out then? Were they doing the Le Mans back then? But you know, you had all those other supercars. Yeah, it just goes to show how successful the 935 was. Now the difference is there's various other variants of this. Oh, by the way, just out of interest, this when the FIA, like they do, changed the rules in 1982, and that's when these cars were outlawed. So good old FIA again, mucking up the sport. I mean, I'm a bit of an old school. I do like my old type style racing. I get a lot of enjoyment out of reading about it, playing sims at it, and watching old vids on YouTube and various other forms of social media. So this was actually introduced in 1978, hence the name. It was only just for Le Mans only, but it went on to win other things, other races as well. For example, it was very similar. The engines are very similar to the 924 models. The engine on this car, which is, again, if you think about it, it's basically what a Porsche. All a Porsche is an expensive Volkswagen, isn't it? So it's people that own Porsche is going to hate that expression, but people that have got a Volkswagen are going to feel a bit more upmarket, aren't they? So basically, it's a bi-turbo, and it had air cooling and water cooling heads on the 1978 engine, and it had 4 valves. But the engine was 3.2 litres, and the bhp, I mean, you got to remember, this is 1978. In fact, I wonder if they got this right, because I'm reading this off a little like text sheet. So what it's telling me here, which is I've got good reason to believe that what I'm reading on the internet is true, although that isn't true on the internet, is it? But anyway, 750 and up to 845 bhp. It said the weight, it was less important, but it had. So that's what it had to be. So I haven't checked the tech spec yet on this, so let's go into the tech spec. 845 bhp, so that's pretty good. 1025 kilograms. There we go. I suppose that's too far out. And it's got a top speed of 366 kilometers per hour. Up to 102.6 seconds. I mean, this was a beast. Let's go back out of that, so I'll just go back into it a second. There we go. So, yeah, so this was not an easy car to drive. It was basically, it took advantage, the design took advantage of finding, like most race teams do, took a loophole in the Group 5 rules. And things like other sort of manufacturers sort of cottoned on to this. So I'm just going to read a little bit now off the internet regarding the nickname. I mean, if you're interested to see where this came from. So I'm just going to read it down now quickly. So blah blah blah. It says the gearbox was mounted upside down to reduce the to reduce the angle of the drive shafts. I'm guessing to make them, I don't know, reduce the angle. So obviously they're not more straight, so the power goes directly out to the wheels without any restriction on the UJs, I'd think. And it says, as the rules did not limit the forward extension of the rear aerodynamic devices, Porsche even added fairings to the doors, bringing the gap between the front and rear fenders. These were shortened later, covering only the front third of the doors. Because of its white colour and long tail shape, optimised for low drag. So that's where the back of it obviously went stuck out past the back and in the front, and they've got those sort of air vents in the doors with the sort of the wheel arches sort of out, covering everything. Quite aerodynamic in its day, I would think. It must have worked. Hence the name. It was nicknamed Moby Dick. And I'm just reading down a bit more there. So interestingly here, this version, I mean, I've got like the same version that's on here. So actually, funny enough, the number 43 is exactly the one I've got on the internet here, which is in that colour as well, the martini colours, which I think is quite retro. But interestingly, just going to this, this version that I've got here, Jochen Mass, he was a good driver, and was it Jackie Ix, another sort of superb GT driver, won the test race and the 6 hour at the fast Silverstone circuit. So I don't know what that means, won a test race, but they've done the 6 hour at Silverstone, and they did the fastest lap of 1 minute 22.38, and it was only only 4 seconds slower than James Hunt in 1977 in a Formula 1 car. I mean, there's Formula 1 cars now which are over 4 seconds slower than current Formula 1 cars, as in like the back of the grid. And they are Formula 1 cars, the same. You've got, I know the technology is different, but you've got a Porsche, which isn't a Formula 1 car, not even from the 1977 era. So the Formula 1 car is still going to be more advanced. Yet, this could have probably, I mean, I don't know what the grid difference would have been in 77 between pole and last. There's probably more cars out there, wasn't there? So I don't know how competitive the field would have been at that time. Might be worth looking that up. But 4 seconds. That is impressive. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a go at this round Spa. I mean, this car typically had been used round Spa, and other sort of sports car tracks, Le Mans being one of them, Nürburgring. The only reason I'm not doing the Nürburgring, Nordschleife, is because it's long and it's unlikely that I'll complete a lap without crashing, to be honest. So that's what we're faced with. I'm going to do a few laps, give my feedback. I've got obviously the Fanatic setup, my gear shifter, and also just out of interest, my race seat is actually due this week, either today or tomorrow, finally. So I'll be spending some time getting that set up, and I'll let you know my thoughts on that as well. Anyway, so we're all ready to go. So we're going to go around Spa in the Porsche 935 78 Moby Dick. Time of day, we'll just put it at 1 o'clock. I'll put that down to 20. I know, let's put that down to 26. It's only practice, so there's not going to be any other cars out there at the moment. I'll give my feedback as well on the new updated Assetto Corsa 1.09. As you can see, everything has to be off, doesn't it, really? I mean, it's a lovely looking car. I have driven it a bit on this game, and I would envy anyone that's actually driven one in real life, because it sounds absolutely incredible. It's got a lovely backfire and the exhaust whine, the turbo whine and exhaust note as well. The thing I have noticed, it's got like a brake squeak, like most of the Porsches have. Sorry. And a lot of people have complained about that. I personally don't think it's an issue, but maybe I'm not braking enough. So I like this new addition where they've got like the picture of the car. My only gripe would be you got the menu on the screen now. I wish that was an option, you know, like you press select to continue, and you could like with your toggle switch, you can just sort of scoot around the car a little bit, just to see it a bit, because that's a nice little graphic. I like how they've done this. This is very similar to the PC. I just wish they got away with the menus in the middle there. Just done away with that until you wanted them, so you can sort of look at the sort of the render of the car. I think that might be quite good. Right. So here we are. We're sat in our Porsche. Now I've had a lot of playing around with these settings on my Fanatic, and I think I'm at the sort of the ideal settings that I need. It doesn't mean I won't go off. I'm not out to sort of break any lap records. I'm just out to sort of give the car a bit of a test drive and a few laps, give you my feedback on it. So we can sit there. If you give the engine a bit of a rev, I mean that does sound really good. It's almost too loud actually. Actually, I turn it down. It doesn't sound quite as good. Because I can't hear myself talk. Anyway, here we go. So I can't blame anyone else for crashing, only me, because I'm the only one out here on my private test day in my Porsche. So we're using clutch and gears. Oh, it's got no front grip. I was going slow. Also, to add on to this, interestingly, an added addition is the tyre warming, which you can see there. Although I'm not so sure that works particularly very well. I don't know. We'll see if it warms up in a lap or so. It's got no front end grip. Look, that's almost full lock there. Well, it isn't full lock, but you can see the tyres are blue. So we do need to sort of get on with it a little bit. It's not the easiest of cars to drive, to be honest. So it's a good challenge. And it's got typical turbo lag. So tyre temperatures are going up a little bit. So I need to get round at sort of a reasonable sort of pace, otherwise the tyres won't warm up. But the sound is amazing. And they really have improved the handling on the cars. They're far more responsive, smoother frame rate. I've got a bit of heat in my tyres now. No, look, there's no turbo there. That's probably going to be a gear 1 corner, isn't it, that one? Down to La Source. I'm going to gear 1 there, actually. I think the tyres are cold now for Eau Rouge. I don't think they'll be flat out through here, so. It doesn't have very good turning, this car, I found. You've got to be really careful around the corners. Wants to understeer. Must remember it hasn't got fifth. See, understeered there. And it has got a lot of turbo lag. See where the tyres have cooled down now, well the inside front. Don't damage the Porsche. And the backs. See, look, lots of steering there. But it feels, you know, nothing. I think one of the things you've got to remember is these cars don't have as much grip as a modern race car. Like that. So hopefully, let's see if we can get round the back end of the circuit, which is Blanchimont. Can't remember the name of this other bend actually. It's called, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I think one's called Blanchimont. And then this new section, you know, back in the day they'd have had like the old bus stop and everything. It's that in gear 1 today. Works better in gear 1, I find. Gear 2's a bit longer. See, the brakes don't work quite as well there. I was hoping to get some heat in the tyres, a rouge again. But yeah, I mean, you can see the turbo boost to the left there. Understeer. No, don't want to damage my Porsche. Yeah, there's a boost back gauge on the left of my dash panel there. That's turbo boost. So when it's obviously off, means I haven't got any slight over rev there. That's a lot of steering there, mate. I mean, what I have noticed with this game is sometimes you've got to change the degrees of rotation on the wheel depending on what car you drive. I mean, at the moment I've settled with 900 degrees, but I mean that might be too much. So look, this doesn't want to turn. I mean the outside tyre's blue, so it must be ice cold. I think about the other thing that Assetto Corsa needs to sort out, and that's the tyre temp gauge. Because I'm sure even at this sort of pace, the tyres will have more heat in them. So, it's fun then. Good thing is I haven't hit anything. I think we need to go a bit quicker, that's the problem. Because we're not generating any heat. That'd be famous last words. Steer there. Look, I won't do this in fourth. Or engine damage, so give it another lap. So they're blue again, ready for Eau Rouge on cold tyres. That's what I mean, can't be that. So no grip, no grip, no grip. It's a great sounding car. I like the sound of the exhaust and those. You can hear the whining. It's the gear then. Talking. Some gears now. Obviously getting low on fuel as well, so old fuel lights come on. So we don't get this lap in anyway, I think. I think like damage. Well, I might not have gone off. I've damaged the gearbox, which is upside down, to make the drive shaft straighter, but I fucked the gearbox up. Oh, it's not working very well now. I am actually missing gears. It's difficult to keep heating these tyres. The gearbox snapped. So there you go then. So I didn't get to finish it, did I? Porsche 935 78 with an evolutionary upside down gearbox, so the drive shafts can be flatter to allow more power to go through to the wheels. Unfortunately, when you put an amateur in it like myself, you can fuck the gearbox up, even in a game. So there's absolutely no point in them going to lend me one of these in real life. So there we are. We're not even going to get back to the pits. It's a good job I'm going to car on the track. But anyway, that's my sort of test drive. Let's park it over here somewhere safe. It's just freewheeling at the moment. There we go, there. So we'll stop that there like that. And we'll come out of that. And I'll just stick it on replay while I'm talking. Let's have a look. If we go forward a little bit. So it isn't all about there we go. Not sure which camera to use. TV Type 2. Static. I quite like that one. That one's quite good. It's a bit far away, isn't it? Look, straight on there. That was quite good. So there we are. That's my faults. Well, that's my test drive. I haven't given my faults yet, have I? Yeah, I like that car. It hasn't got a lot of grip. I hadn't actually messed around with the settings, so you know, I'm sure if I did some like pit work, maybe tyre pressures would have helped. I mean, I haven't even checked to see whether or not that was on hard compound rubber or is it soft, or is it a choice? I mean, I don't know. I mean, look. So. But even so the car's, it's really good. I mean, I have done a race in these. It's amazing. I'm a bit of a Porsche fan anyway. I do like the Porsches. If I had the money, I would definitely go for a GT3, more modern. although I do like the 911. I used to have a 924, or was it a 944? I don't know now. One of the old ones, but it was nice. It was a non-turbo version, but it was nice. So anyway, so my thoughts on this, yeah, very good, very well modelled, nice sound. It would seem to sort of handle and go as of the era. We're talking 1978. Technology was nowhere near what it was now, so things have moved along a hell of a lot. Back in the day, it was a right beast. So it's none of this traction control and ABS. So it may have had them on there. I don't know. Maybe if you put it on factory settings on the options, it might give you a little bit of either. But it's a nice car. It's been rendered nice. It's got very fat rear tyres on, that deep dished rear wheel I like. A neat little exhaust flame out the back. The exhaust whine, the brake whine that you can hear doesn't really bother me. Quite like those retro colours that they give you there. There's other colours within the game which are equally as nice, but I do like the lighting. It looks more fitting for the car. So yeah, I mean the game is much better. The update 1.09 and the Porsche pack on Assetto Corsa is well worth your time and effort. I've now gone and headed back on to finish off my career. I think the AI's improved a hell of a lot. The car handles much better. It's smoother throughout, although it's a little. You can see there on the replay, there's a little bit of judgery here and there. It's not the end of the world. So well done, Kunos, and well done Assetto Corsa and everyone involved. I can't wait for the next pack. Pack 2, Pack 3, and also apparently there's a 1.10 patch which brings it in line with the PC. PC still has the edge on a lot of things on Assetto Corsa compared to the console, but those that know will know what they are. I'm not going to bore you to death on here. Hopefully, that when they bring the new patch out, the consoles will be nearer to the PC. I know they're working on certain things now, but that's my test drive of the Porsche 935/78 Moby Dick. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.